leadership requires people around you to change. Okay, so it's the ability to influence change. So it's not just influence for the sake of influence, but I want to influence growth. I want to influence development. I want to get people from here to there. And so it involves movement. It means a team's moving forward. It means people are changing. It means a group is headed towards a vision. Now, if you are walking and no one's following you, that's not leadership. That's just taking a stroll. Okay? So you got to say leadership means there is someone following. And it's more than just title, or it's more than just authority. Some people confuse leadership maybe because they have a title, maybe because they have an authority, maybe they have a position, but that doesn't always mean that there is leadership. Leadership is influence. Everyone say influence. And so the question is, who is following you? Not who reports to you. Okay, who's following you? Not who can you fire. Who is following you? Not who has to listen to you because you carry a title at a company or you pay someone's checks. Who's following you? Leadership is the ability to influence people to move. You're getting them from where they are currently to where you think they could be. So there's a big difference between people reporting to you, people following you. You can occupy a position and not have any influence, and then you're not a leader. Can I say that again? You can have a position, but there's no one following you, so you only have a position, you don't have influence. Leadership is always going to be influence, and you can be in charge without someone genuinely wanting to go along with you. So I've spent now over 20 years in leadership as a pastor at a beautiful church. And isn't this a beautiful church, by the way? I'm very grateful to Grow Church for being here today. I love churches that strive for excellence. But I spent 20 years now leading people in ministry. I have also a large family. I feel like I lead an organization with my 9 children, my son-in-law, my grandkid, my wife. So that's just like its own thing. But here's something that I have learned is that people are messy. So these people that you're trying to influence are unreliable, unfaithful, they're moody, they can be difficult, they can betray you, they can be brilliant, they can inspire you, even though you're leading them. Sometimes there's people you're leading and you're thinking, you should actually be leading me. These people can give you some of the greatest moments of your life and some of the worst moments of your life, right? They can cause greatest joy and the greatest pain. I think that you only have to be a leader for 5 seconds to realize that's going to be very true. So the kicker is there is no leadership without people. And people are messy. So I've met people who say, well, I love leadership, I just don't like people very much. Well, that would be like saying, I love swimming, but I hate water. Okay, that can't be true. Leadership is people. People are messy. Those two things, if we're going to embrace leadership, we have to realize that people are the very substance of leadership. So I can't say I want leadership without the inconvenience of this people thing. Because people is leadership. You can't say, I want people to follow the vision, but I don't have time for all their questions, man. I want people to be loyal, but I don't want to earn their trust. I want people to be honest, but I'm going to get very defensive the moment they get honest with me. People are always going to be messy, but you need people in order to be a leader. Because leadership is the ability to influence human beings, not the ability to influence computers, right? And so we have to embrace the mess. Look at your neighbor and say, walk towards the mess. This is a saying that I heard early on in my leadership from a pastor called Andy Stanley. He wrote a book called Deep and Wide. And he trained his staff to walk towards a mess, and I do the same. If we're going to be in leadership, we have to embrace the mess, and we have to say, well, my job now is to not try to live a clean life. I'm going to be living a very messy life, and I'm going to walk towards a mess, because leadership is people and people are messy. So there's no form of this where it's drama-free. If you want a drama-free life, please don't be in leadership. You have chosen the wrong profession. If you want to influence people, you got to realize you're going to make your life complicated. Now, trusting people sounds really nice until someone breaks your trust. Caring for people sounds really great until people take advantage of your care. And have you noticed that it's the people you go the most out the way for that are the worst to you? They will be the ones who bite your hands the worst. The ones you extend yourself and you broke all your boundaries and you gave more than you should. They will be the ones who, because people are messy, and leadership is leading, influence messy people. Developing people sounds so great until all the people you develop decide to leave. Leadership is messy. And guess what? The first person who's messy is you. Leadership isn't one perfect person trying to lead a group of messy people. Leadership is a messy person leading messy people. So we can't come and say, well, I never miscommunicate. I never assume. I never feel lazy. I never miss deadlines. It's just you guys. No, real leadership is understanding that it's a messy person who has insecurities, who makes assumptions, who carries baggage. It's a messy person who misunderstands, who's now leading others who do the same. And we're trying to move everyone towards a shared vision. We're trying to move all these people towards a shared purpose, which means there are going to be times when there are offenses. If you've ever been offended or offended someone, welcome to leadership. There's no version of this without that. There's going to be times where there are irritations. If you've ever been irritated, welcome to leadership. There's no version of this. You're not doing something wrong, you're doing something right. If you get through this, by the way, and no one's offended or irritated or upset with you, you haven't led anyone. You've done it wrong. If you're leading and there's no mess, you're not leading. No. The leadership comes with mess, and that's what we have to understand is when your life gets messy, that's when people, I'm a bad leader. I'm doing this wrong. No. Welcome to leadership. It's about messy people, a messy person leading messy people. It's about you trying to influence people who are not perfect, but you yourself is also, you're not perfect. And it's in the process of this, not getting what my generation when I was young called jaded. I don't know if anyone even knows what that means, but some 40-year-olds in the room, I'm sure, right? Come look at your neighbor and say, don't get jaded. You know what jaded means? It means where you let the mess affect your heart. Be careful. Guard your heart. Scripture tells us we've got to guard our hearts. Everything in life is going to flow through this, out of this heart. To be careful what the mess of people does to your heart. When I was early on in my pastoring, I heard a prayer from Craig Rochelle that he used to pray. I'm so glad I heard this prayer because I've been praying it in my leadership. He said, Lord, please give me a thick skin and a soft heart. Okay, so let me be tough-skinned. Let me be hard to offend. Let me not assume the worst in people, but keep my heart soft. So keep my heart loving people, because people is leadership. And if I turn against people, I can't lead them. Because someone betrayed me, now think, well, everyone's going to betray me. I can't lead you. And my heart is hard. If I think because someone inconvenienced me or took advantage of me or lied to me or someone tried to defraud me, now everyone's bad. You're done. As a leader, your leading career is over. Because you're going to lead with suspicion. You're going to lead with baggage. And you're going to lead treating people as criminals, and often that's what we get from them, and because we're creating that ourselves. So We have to now lead with a thick skin. I say to my team all the time, I'm hard to offend. You're not trying hard enough. People will come and say, oh, I'm sorry, did I offend you? I say, oh, you got to try much harder than that. You got to try much harder than that to get under my skin. Please, I'm hard to offend on purpose. I'm going to assume the best in you. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to believe in you. I'm going to give you the job I hired you for. I'm going to let you do that work. Even though before I have been very hurt. I've been very offended. Why? Because I've led. It's part of the job. And so we have to understand that it is up to us not to allow someone who left us, who we invested in, and I'm not going to invest in people anymore. Someone who we were overly generous to, who took advantage of our generosity. Okay, that's it. I'm not doing that for people again. No, now you're also disqualifying yourself for leadership. It is your job to be thick-skinned and soft-hearted. Don't let the mess get to your heart. Keep your heart soft. Just because someone has misused your kindness, please don't stop being kind. Just because someone lies to you, don't now be controlling over every detail because someone found a loophole. No, we can learn lessons, we can improve systems, but we've got to be careful how we treat people, because leadership, I want to sound like a broken record now, is leading and influencing messy people. It's you as a messy person influencing others. So we can learn these lessons without becoming hardened. We can. We can become wiser without becoming colder. And this is why I think self-aware leadership is very important. Leaders who are teachable and self-aware, who are willing to say, hey, I've let this get to me. I've let this one person or incident affect now how I'm treating everyone, right? I've become jaded. I don't know, they need like a Gen Z word for that. But I don't know what else to say but jaded. Jaded sounds so good, but my heart's been affected by this mess. And so a leader is very dangerous when they're not self-aware, when they're not being honest about what their past leadership is doing to their current leadership. Now, when people are messy and complicated, you have to, as you approach them now, decide, am I going to lead them or am I going to manage them? And those two things are not the same. Leadership is not management, and management is not leadership. And now you're very good at these PowerPoints, right? Yes, I haven't even nodded at you, you've just gone. There's a difference, by the way, between leadership and management, but we do need both. Management's not bad. We need to manage things. We just don't want to manage people. We want to manage things and we want to lead people. Okay, look at the person next to you, say manage things and lead people. Okay, so management asks these questions. What work needs to be done? Who is responsible for this work? What is the deadline that needs to be met? What are the resources we need for this deadline? What is the standard we need to meet? Are we on budget? Are we achieving the desired results? Do we need to ask those questions? Absolutely, but those are all management questions. Leadership sees the messy people that have to do that work. Leadership goes above and asks the management questions and asks more questions like, how is the person doing that's doing this work? Does that person understand why this work's important? What is preventing this person from succeeding? This person, are they growing? Do they feel trusted? Are they afraid to tell me the truth? Can they walk in my office and tell me they've made a mistake? Do they believe I care about them or only care about what they can produce? Now, you maybe work for someone who treated you like an object who can produce something for them. And it's terrible to work for a manager because that's all they are interested in doing. When you work for a leader, they'll get far more out of you because they're also interested in you. They care about you, and it's not fake care. You feel the care. You feel like they'll put me above the organization. Management can produce compliance, and for some of you, that's actually all you want. You just want compliance. Can we just comply? I don't want to know about your life. Can we just get the job done? But leadership creates commitment. Now, those two things, I tell you what, when you have commitment in your organization, it's so lovely because compliant people only work when you're watching them. Committed people work after hours. Committed people work till late at night. Committed people will get up in the morning to send that, to not miss a deadline, and you don't even have to tell them to do that because you've led them. They're committed. Managed people are compliant. They'll do this because I have to, but they don't believe in what they're doing. In fact, Gallup's research, they've done so many studies on this when they study workplace engagement, and they've discovered that workplace engagement differs from organization to organization by up to 70%, depending just on who's leading them. Imagine giving 70% more out of your staff just because you led them instead of managed them. Imagine the difference that could make. And I was thinking about this. What we always blame is the economy. We always blame the resources and the industry and the generation. How many of us have blamed the generation? We blame the technology. We blame the funding. But actually, one of the greatest variables to whether an organization succeeds is just who's leading it or who's managing it. Great leadership doesn't get the most out of people. Great leadership brings the most out of people. That is a massive difference. You know, when I get the most out of you, I can break you for the sake of the organization. That's getting, I'm going to get if you work for someone and you feel like they're going to get every pound of flesh they can out of me. That's management. I'm going to get the most out of you, and I'm willing to break you for the sake of this company. Okay, that's management. Leadership brings the best out of you. And it actually adds more to the company. You're more productive. This is what leadership does. Management asks, what can this person do for me? Leadership asks, what could this person become? What could they become? So let me ask you, the people around you, are they better because of your leadership? Or are they bitter? Are they better? Or are they busier? Are they more capable now because of you? Are they more secure because of you? Or are they just dependent on you? Are you developing people or distributing work? Those are two different things. Leadership is actually not what your organization produces. Leadership, because leadership is people, leadership is about what your organization is producing inside of people. Leadership sees every human being as a human being, because you can stop seeing them as that. You realize that everyone who walks into the office carries a story. You know that people don't actually leave their humanity at the door. Now, I want to tell you that I am a recovering manager. In fact, I have a degree in human resources, and when I studied, we had to do personality profiles. And so in my personality profile, we did something called the managerial grid, which just tested your management style. So in the managerial grid, there's two axes, and they do your percentage between, are you task driven? So when you're managing a team, are you task driven or people driven? Okay. When I did that test, I was 100% task. God looked at that person and said, you will be a pastor. Only God. He had to do a whole personality makeover for me to stop seeing people as objects that could get a job done, and for me to start seeing people as valuable, as unique, as called by God, with so much potential and life and beauty and skill inside of them that could actually come together and do something beautiful. That was not me, right? But a manager forgets that the people coming into the doors are human beings. They're coming in with their marriages, with their hang-ups. They're also coming in with their experience and baggage from past leaders. Right, we forget. Some of those leaders were controlling. Some of those leaders trusted them. Some of those leaders abused them. Some of those leaders took advantage of them. So they're also coming in with their own baggage. We forget that. But one of the greatest gifts that you can give the people leading you is that they are seen, not watched. And that's a big difference. Are the people you're leading seen, or are they watched? Being watched means you monitor all their production. Being seen means you recognize the people that are producing it. And this should challenge us. Do the people on your team believe you care for them? Do they believe you're committed to their personal development, to their dreams and goals and ambitions? Do they believe that their opinions matter? Even their opinions that differ to your opinions. Let me ask this question. What does it feel like being led by you? What's it feel like being on the other side of your leadership? That is a question to ask. And I'm not asking what do you intend for your leadership to feel like. Like, what's it really feel like being led by you? Having you as a boss? Having you as a team leader? Does it feel safe? Good, Cynthia. I would feel safe with you. Do you feel seen? Does it feel inspiring? Does it feel tense? Does it feel unpredictable? Do people have to clock your attitude in the morning when you walk in the door because they're not sure which version of you is going to walk in? You seen that? I've worked for leaders before, and they would be like, avoid today, avoid. I had one leader who I could know he was in a bad mood because he would then walk with his head tilted. And we would just go in the office and say, okay, everyone, his head's tilted today. Then we would know, avoid, don't go near him, right? Or is your attitude and behavior and passion predictable or unpredictable? Is it consistent? What does it feel like being led by you? Because the people in your organization can break if you're not careful. And I think that is one of the most unloving things to do, actually. And when we sit before God one day, I think it's really going to be about, hey, did you take care? Were you leading those sheep, as we heard this morning? Okay, so I want to do a bit of an exercise with you. I told you this is a masterclass, and else that I could do anything. I could do practical things. I was like, cool, yay. So I'm going to split this crowd here. Can you see there's like a gap here of chairs? I want all of you guys to make a circle here for me. And I want all of you guys to make a circle here for me. Let's go for it. A standing circle here. Okay, so can you quickly count how many? I needed to try to be as even as possible to be fair. How many people are in your circle now? How many people are in your circle, 12? 14. I need, if we can go here, so now we are 13. Yeah, there we go. Okay, what are you now? What? Okay, you're 13. Okay, great. Andy, I'm going to give you guys a ball. Are you 12? And you guys are 13. Okay, you have a bit of a disadvantage now. Okay, now it's going to be, now we're even. Nobody move. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to throw the ball to someone on the other side of the circle for you. Then you. And then that person has to throw the ball to someone who hasn't yet had a turn to catch. And you're going to do that till everyone's had one turn to catch. And then you're going to throw the ball to the person holding it now. But once you've completed, so everyone's had one turn to catch and one turn to throw. Once you've completed that, you shout done, and that group wins. Now, if at any moment the ball drops, you got to start from the beginning. Okay, are you ready? Everyone understand the rules? Okay, and go. Okay, whoa. We started here again. You cannot throw the ball to someone who's already caught it. You got to throw it to someone new. Remember, you cannot throw the ball to someone who's caught it, only someone new. Okay, we have a winning group. Finish up for me. We need you to finish. Okay, now, for this round, no one's allowed to talk, and you have to repeat the exact same pattern you just did. No talking. Okay, and so you have to throw to the person you threw to before. Repeat the exact same order of ball throwing, no talking, and go. Cammy's gonna be finished first. Thanks, guys. You're welcome to have a seat. Yeah, I saw some interesting ball skills there. Some of you are in the right profession because you're not in sport. So interesting to see how some of those eggs turned out. This was this team's. We had, by the way, from this team, 2 broken eggs. And from this team, 2 whole eggs. So let's give this team a hand. They won their challenge for sure. They got to be messy. Now, what did I want to teach you from this? Well, first of all, these are the organization's tasks. These are the organization's people. Okay, so let's talk through that. What's the difference between the two when you're having to manage things and lead? What's the most obvious difference? One can break. Okay. If you had to drop one, which one would you choose? Why? So that people don't leave your organization looking like this. Now, how did this end up looking like this? And can I ask, what was the difference between the two teams? Let's talk to this team that won. How did you handle your eggs? Why did they not break? Handle with care. And what did you do different to the balls? You passed them on physically. Okay, so you didn't treat your tasks the same way you treated your people. Why? Because you knew there's a difference between the two. Now, the team that did this to their people, thanks, Neo. That's fantastic. But Andy, so you guys treated the eggs the same as you treated the task, yeah? This is management. Okay. And that's why we got to be careful, because people break. So when there's a deadline, when there's a big crunch, when there's pressure on your organization, and you've got to drop one, what do you choose to drop? The task. Drop the task, not the person. Now that is very difficult, because we care very much about the task, because the task at the end of the day, if these balls are this is what gets us finances and gives us a good reputation, but also we need all these eggs healthy so that there's longevity. You can drop a ball, you can miss an email and no one dies, right? You can miss a deadline and apologize to a client, but be careful in the midst of this what you're doing to all the eggs in your organization, because they do break. And we've got to see the people who walk in our doors as real human beings with a past, with baggage, with issues, with concerns, with family pressures. Not everyone's living for your organization like you. I know that's hard to imagine. Not everyone thinks about your organization like you do, and as often as you do. I remember being very frustrated with my team at the church and thinking, Lord, and I'll just say, we're the best team. Okay, I have such an incredible team. I go away for 3 months on sabbatical. I don't even think about the church. I just pray for it. But I know that it's going to be good. Like, it is the biggest blessing to be able to do that. To this team is on it. They don't even need me, right? But I remember a time I wasn't like that. Everyone reported to me. I was like in everyone's business. And I was just thinking, where's their passion? Why don't they have passion? And then God said to me, Ryan, if they had the passion you had, then they'd be in charge. There should be a passion vacuum. They shouldn't be thinking and feeling about it as passionate as you are. Then they should be leading if they had your passion, if they had your vision. The whole job of leadership is to bring them to where you think they need to be, but they shouldn't be there already. Then why would you exist? So there will be a passion vacuum. They'll never be as passionate as you. That's okay. If they were as passionate as you, then they should have your job. So we've got to be very careful with what, in the crunch times, what are we choosing to drop? Okay. Always drop the task. So we have this language in our team. We talk about, hey, I need to drop the ball, so I'm not dropping the egg. So maybe we'll have someone I did boil them, because I didn't want Andres to phone me and say, it's Sunday and my church smells like eggs. You sabotaging us. I'm like, no, I boiled them to make sure that wouldn't happen. So we got to balance this though. Okay, this doesn't mean we allow toxic behavior. And it doesn't mean we don't have hard conversations. Leadership doesn't mean you ignore all the mess. There is some mess that affects a team. There's some mess that hurts the organization. And you've got to have that conversation without becoming toxic yourself. So that means I have to address when someone's late all the time. Compassion and accountability are not two separate things, right? If someone keeps missing deadlines, if someone keeps treating their colleagues around them badly, if someone's refusing to communicate, if someone's refusing to take responsibility, it's my job as a leader, if I'm going to get this organization to move and these people to move, to say, hey, you're lagging behind. Hey, you're not doing your job. Hey, you're missing your deadline. So this doesn't mean that I never have crucial conversations, but when I'm having those conversations, I realize I'm talking to an egg. What I was saying before that egg drop is we have this language in our team where sometimes we'll have a meeting that's pre-scheduled and pre-planned, and I'll be like, where's this person? And then I'll get a WhatsApp just dealing with an egg. And then I know they've dropped this task because they have an egg they're dealing with. And so they have permission. Yeah, the eggs always trump the task. If you have someone or something, a person in crisis, you deal with that first. That's leadership. And so sometimes healthy leadership means I care about you, but this behavior can't continue, right? It means I believe in you, but the standards we have here still matter. It means, hey, I appreciate you, and maybe we're not a good fit for you. Maybe you're not going to survive here. So real care doesn't remove all the standards. I think that's important. But that comes with its own set of red flags for us, concerns for us, because it also means that not everyone's going to like you. And can I just tell you, as a leader, from one to another, that's okay. If you want to be popular, don't be a leader. If you want people to like you, you're doing the wrong thing. Okay, so you cannot do this to want to be liked. Something that set me free, I was watching, I think the elections, I don't know if it was 2014, but that first time Trump won, and then I got like seriously into international politics, and I was looking at other countries, and I started to realize, wow, every country that has a democratic election, that leader normally only wins by a few points. They only win ever by like 51%, 52%, 55%. If there's 55%, like people are like, wow. That means, listen, the best leaders in the world can only get just over half the amount of people to follow them. The best leaders in the world can only just turn just over half the crowd. You look at Jesus' leadership, he was not in it to be popular, can we agree? Greatest leader to walk the earth. Judas, one of his 12, betrayed him to death. Can we blame that on Jesus' leadership? No. Peter denied him 3 times. I was doing that Bible story with my kids this morning. 3 times. No, don't know who you are. 3 times, greatest leader in the world. Religious Pharisees hated him so much they plotted his death and then succeeded. So if you are, Jesus even owned disciples. I think it's in, I did make note of it. It's in John 6, it tells us many of his disciples turned their back on Jesus when he started talking about his body being broken. So if you lead well, you won't be popular. Not everyone will like you, and that's also not the point. So if you're doing this to be liked, the problem is then you lead from a place of needing to be liked, and actually that's your brokenness that you're leading from. It shows your identity is not in Christ. When I know who I am in Christ, then I can lead you as I need to, and I'm not leading you to get your approval, because God tells me who I am. So I've had this thing when there's a blowback in one of my decisions, or people get offended and they come into my office and say, I'm offended by this. This is what practice I do. I picture myself going into the throne room of God with that decision, and I say, God, did this honor you? Did I do this for your motives? Did I do this in a way that still upheld your kingdom? Was I ethical? And if it's yes, then I say, well, Lord, then actually I'm okay with the decision I made. Right? Now, if I have done that exercise and realized, oh, my motives were bad, my attitude stunk, I did that out of pettiness, and then I'd have to apologize and say, actually, you know what, you're right, and that was wrong, and I'm sorry that this has happened. because they didn't honor God. And you're right. But there's many times where I think God's okay with that. So then it doesn't matter if a man or woman isn't. Right? This is about identity. And so we have to release the pressure to be popular, but we never release the pressure to be loving, to be kind, to be respectful, and to treat people as human beings. Which also means I've got to trust the team around me and give them responsibility and give them control. Now that's a tension that a lot of leaders face, is the need. We want to give responsibility, but we don't want to give away control. And so what it means is we're not trusting the people that are leading us. In fact, let me do this exercise. Who wants to volunteer for something? Who wants to come up? And any volunteers? Andy, let's give Andy a hand. Okay, Andy, I'm going to put 45 seconds on the clock. And I want Andy to build me the highest tower he can. So, Andy, the highest tower you can in 45 seconds. Hang on, let me just get 45 seconds on the clock here. So, maybe let's do it on this table, Andy, then everyone can see your art at work. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Stand up here, please.
Okay, Andy, almost. I've got some more cups. Okay, let's see how high Andy can make this in 45 seconds. And let's go.
Might help if this bird sleep. Okay. Is this exercise? Just step to that. Making me paint, yeah.
Så blir det sånn her. Mye rett skikkelig.
Oh, that's 45 seconds. Andy, okay, just give him a hand. Okay, Andy, let's try that again. That was very good. Okay.
Yeah, the way you coaching me or me?
Let's do this differently, Andy. I'm out of it now. Okay, you got 45 seconds.
Talk.
Help me with that up space.
Okay, okay.
Yo. That's 45 seconds. Give him a hand. Well done. Andy, that was brilliant, man. Okay, can you help me take this down? Okay, Andy, what was the big difference between the first time you did it and the second time? You had interruptions. Yeah. Thank you. I hope you guys can see that actually my helpful advice delayed things. That wasn't helpful. My little guidance here. By the way, in all honesty, I would never have built the towers the way you did, Andy. Never have thought of it doing it that way. And you achieved a goal that was greater than I would have done a whole little tower thing. Like a typical da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. So I want you to see from this, micromanagement is not excellence. And micromanagement doesn't help the people you're leading. You think you're being helpful, but actually you're delaying everything. Here's what I've had to do with my teams. And it was difficult at first because I believed I had the best method and I had the level of excellence, but I had to realize that the people that God's put on my team, I also got to trust them with their methods. And then I just say what the result should be. And how they get to that result is completely on them. So I used to tell the what and the how. Now I just tell the what. Okay, so I used to say, we need to do this, we need to do this event, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. I want you to click on this document. You got to use this software. You got to use this program. Believe me, we got to use I want this app installed, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it so that you'll do it exactly how I would have done it. That's micromanagement. And being under the leadership of a micromanager makes you feel completely cut at the knees, untrusted, unvalued, because you don't even believe anymore you can bring anything to the party because your leader doesn't. I say to the team now, if you start seeing me get involved in your department, that is not a compliment, because they know I'm so uninvolved. I just say this is the what. Guys, we need to get here. These are the results we want to see. This is the effect we want to have. Okay, go for it. That's it. Not telling them, so I think this is going to take 3 strategic meetings. And I want to see the plan emailed to me with a breakdown, blah, 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 blah. Oh man, that was just a headache. It was also a headache for me, you know? And then I started saying, what if I trusted the people that I put on my team? Because who put them there? Well, why would I put someone on my team I don't trust? Then I'm just bad at building a team. But if I saw something in them, I saw skills in them, I saw talent in them, I saw expertise in them, and like, well, what if I trusted them? So I'm also giving them authority to make decisions. And then all we do is evaluate the what that I gave you in the beginning. Right? And if you didn't achieve that goal, I might come and say, well, can we just discuss your how? Maybe I have some advice for you for the next time we do this. But I'm not going to now come and micromanage every little thing. Oh, it's so exhausting. Give me a morning report, a lunch report, an afternoon report, and a breakdown. And no one has authority to make decisions. Every decision then has to go through you, which is also pretty exhausting. So part of us developing people and doing leadership is to say, hey, can I give you authority with your responsibility? You have the authority to make decisions. You have authority over budget. You have authority over systems. You have authority over the people you're leading. My team know now, don't come to me unless you've had this conversation with your HOD. And then normally I'd say, well, then your HOD will come to me if they think that's important, because I trust everyone in the system, right? So we don't need to have a discussion that you haven't had with them yet. People even in the church have meetings with me. I have a great gatekeeper, Inari, and her whole job is to say, because everyone thinks they need to speak to me, and she'll tell them, no, that's the wrong person, because we have a youth pastor for that. Or we have a children's home manager for that. We have a life cafe manager for that. You don't need to speak to Ryan about that life cafe idea, because we trust that person, and that person in charge has the authority and the budgeting and the responsibility, and they can make actual decisions, real decisions, based on just what I have said. This is where we need to go. And you get us there. You decide, you pray for strategy. Let's use your skills and experience to get us there. You see the difference between me leading them and managing them? I think it is so loving for us to be able to lead people and treat them as human beings. And as I close, I see my time is going up. Just one last thing. For us to do this, we can't look like this. You can't lead from an empty cup. If your cup is empty, you'll have nothing to pour. And all you will be worried about is deadlines and budgets and finances and emails and reports. What's in your cup will flow out to the people around you. Now, this is what God wants. The idea is that we're so filled with the Spirit of God that the people around us are not getting from what's in us, they're getting the overflow. Right? So we're so filled that we're actually overflowing. And this overflow of love and of peace and God's presence is starting to affect the people around us. That's the goal. Which means I mustn't just stay filled for me. Some people, the most leaders aren't even filled for themselves. And then they're taking from what's in themselves. What I get from God in my quiet time, for example, as a pastor, you won't hear in sermons. That's for me. And there's some good stuff there. Ha ha ha. You're going to get the overflow, right? It's what's overflowing out of you. And so the people around you just realize it's very difficult with a leader that's so dry. And they've forgotten to lead the first person on the team, themselves. You gotta lead yourself first. Okay, so, and this cup filling it starts spiritually, right? Me getting filled with the word, getting filled with God's presence and worship and prayer, just being connected. When I'm connected to God, I tell you, then you can slay the giants. Then you can climb the mountains when you feel a connection with God. But if you let that slip, everything else is going to be hard. But then remember, God created you as 3 in 1, very similar to the Trinity. You're not just a spirit, you're a soul and a body. So now I've got to say, okay, well, what's good for my soul? What do I love? I love a good movie. You might love riding bikes. You might love playing paddle. You might love going fishing, okay? In your busiest times, where you're pouring the most out, you've got to be putting more in. So in your busiest times, you've got to play more paddle. In your busiest times, then, you've got to make sure you're going fishing. In the seasons that require me more to pour out, I have to make sure I'm pouring more in, not less. This is how leaders burn out. In their busy times that require more pouring, they stop the intake. And now I'm too busy for that. Well, you are now on the road to burnout. And everyone in your organization is going to suffer for it. That is not going to do anyone any favors. So it is your responsibility to keep this filled. By the way, no one's going to do it for you. In fact, everyone will be taking. If you're a leader, they're going to feel like they're sucking you dry. Okay? That's their job, by the way, to take from you. It is your job to keep yourself filled. So you keep yourself filled, and then you say, I've got to look after this body that God's given me. This is a road I'm still walking, and so I don't have the expertise to properly teach with authority there, but you have a body that you've got to look after, because that houses your soul and spirit. And so just make sure you're not trying to lead from an empty cup. For those of you who are empty, take a half a day, go do something you love, go walk with God, just make sure that, hey, I'm no good for anyone if I'm dry. And when you try and you're scraping from what's at the bottom of the barrel to try to give to your team, that's how you will go insane. Okay, and also no one will want to be around you. So it's going to make it very hard to lead them. Anyway, I think that's all I have for today, Anel. Lead well, because when you get better, everything you lead gets better too. Thanks, Anel.